Hello my dear students, welcome to your science class. This is Vivek Singh and today we are going to see part 6 of this particular chapter, and in this particular part we are going to see about cell membrane or plasma membrane and what are the functions of plasma membrane and what is diffusion and importance of diffusion. So let's start with the cell membrane or plasma membrane. You know that each and every cell is bound by a thin delicate membrane is known as cell membrane or plasma membrane. And what actually this plasma membrane is? It is the outermost covering of a cell which separates the contents of a cell from its external environment. So in this way you can say that if there is no plasma membrane, so there will be no exact boundary between the material of the cell and other things like one cell and other cell. It will be mixed and there will be no existence of particular cell organelles or whatever is there inside the cell. Okay, so it is made up of what? Organic molecules. What are those organic molecules? Are lipid molecules and protein molecules. Okay, and it makes the flexibility. These lipids and proteins are flexible in nature, and that flexibility allows the plasma membrane to engulf the food material because each and every organism required food material, and whoever is having very limited structure, or you can say that primitive structure, so they goes for this way of taking food, that engulfing, and that is possible because of flexibility of plasma membrane. If it is going to be rigid in nature, this engulfing process will not be possible. Okay, and what is the example which takes food with the help of engulfing process? That amoeba, very common example. Okay, and that process is known as endocytosis. The process of engulfing food is known as endocytosis, and amoeba is very good example of that endocytosis. Okay, so our engulfing you can see. And now we are here, you can see that structure of a plasma membrane. So let's we need to understand that what actually this lipid and protein structure is having. So if you see the single molecule of that which makes the plasma membrane, it is made up of two units. One is head and second one is tail. So head is hydrophilic, means it loves water. It comes in contact with water, no hate with the water. When we talk about hydrophobic, the tail, it is hydrophobic in nature, so it hates water. I mean it will not face the water. So these two things comes together and forms the phospholipid, and many phospholipids molecules comes together and form the plasma membrane or cell membrane. Now here we are going to see what actually this plasma membrane is. Okay, so you can see here two layers are there. One layer is this side, another layer is this side. So it is lipid bilayer. So plasma membrane is made up of two layers of lipid, that's why it is bilayer. And you can see these blue colors, these indicate the protein, and there are some glycolipids, there are some glycoprotein, some globular protein, some channel protein, integral protein, peripheral protein, means the protein which are found in on the periphery. Okay, so these are known as peripheral protein, and those which cross from one side to another, or it is embedded inside, so that is integral protein. And these channel proteins allows things to pass from one side to the another. Okay, so this is the structure of plasma membrane. This you can see the outside of the cell membrane, and this is the inside of the cell membrane. Here is the cytoplasm. Okay, so let's move further and see the functions of cell membrane. So it is selectively permeable in nature. It allows only selective materials. Okay, why it is selective? Because if it is permeable for everything, so there will be no limitation of input and output, no limitation on inward and outward flow. So if it is going to be selectively permeable, so whatever is required it will come inside, and what is not required it will go outside based on the requirement. Okay, so it bounds the semi-fluid content of the cell, okay, and protects the cell from injury and provide an outer boundary. It is responsible for giving the distinct boundary to the cell and its content. Okay, it allows the flow of materials and information between organelles and between the cells. Okay, it is possible because of cell membrane or plasma membrane. So it has carrier protein for active transport. Active transport means wherever energy involvement is there. Where is there passive involvement? Passive transport, there is no involvement of energy. Okay, and the movement of substances in and out of the cell occurs through two processes. First one is diffusion and second one is the osmosis. Let's see what actually this diffusion is. Okay, so in this diagram you can see that we have placed a dye here and the water is there, and if you see the second second beaker, you can see that it starts spreading, it is spreading, and here you can see it is equally distributed. This dye is equally distributed. So by seeing this we can define that the movement of molecules of a substance from a region of their higher concentration, where density is high, concentration is high, amount of dye is high, from its higher concentration to the lower concentration, where this side no dye is there and here no. So here you can see that it is equally distributed because of diffusion. So this diffusion is possible because of diffusion process. So higher concentration to the lower concentration. So what happens, what actually the benefits of diffusion? So if you see that the gaseous exchange within the cell as well as between the cell is possible because of diffusion. We will see that how oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange takes place with the help of diffusion. Okay, and it is a means of spreading ions and molecules throughout the protoplasm. That's why the information processing is possible. So transpiration from stomata occurs by the diffusion. If there is no diffusion, there will be no transpiration. Okay, and there will be no control on the temperature of the plant body. Okay, so and again the aroma of a flower is due to diffusion of the aromatic compound from the flower to attract the pollinators. The all insects are come in contact to the flower because of that aroma, and that aroma spreads because of diffusion. Okay, so I have shown you how we can burn incendiary sticks, and the fume of incendiary sticks spreads throughout the room or in a particular area. That is possible because of diffusion. So carbon dioxide moves out of the cell through diffusion and oxygen moves inside the cell through diffusion. So these all things are possible because of diffusion. If there is no diffusion, it will not be possible. Okay, so that's all for this video. You have to make notes and you draw the diagram. In next video we will see what actually this osmosis is. Okay, so that's all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.